A massive hello from the Year 3-4 team, it's Miss Kerrison here, and I'm going to be talking through lots of different activities you've been sent home in your packs, as well as reading you a bit more of our story. Before we get down to the next pieces of work though, what I want to know is what you've been up to over Easter. Now, I hope the Easter Bunny visited your house and left you lots of different surprises and Easter eggs. Now, I have to admit the Easter Bunny did visit us this year and left Evie May a beautiful little card from the Easter Bunny, which I'll show you right now. I'm going to start off going through some of Wednesday's tasks that we've set for you on your PowerPoint and home learning slides. So that includes planning your diary entry as well as one of the guided reading tasks, which I know you'll be great at because we've done lots of them in class.
So, here's your first writing task. You should have already completed your writing task from the other day, which involved writing an adventure story. So this is your next writing task to start tomorrow. So what I want you to do first of all is imagine that you get a mysterious package sent to your house in the middle of the night. Inside there is a pair of wonderful looking trainers. There is also a short note written on the glistening paper. The note said, "You have been chosen to be the keeper of these magic trainers. Use them wisely. When 1 year has passed, leave them on your doorstep at midnight for me to collect." So the next step for us before we plan our diary entry is to think about what these trainers actually look like, because in our head we need to have a vision of what these trainers are like. So first of all, I want you to draw your trainers. They can be anything you like them to be. They can look however you want them to be. And then I want you to think about, how do you feel when you've received these trainers on your doorstep with this magical note? How does that make you feel? I then want you to think about what powers the trainers have. Can they make you fly? Do they make you invisible? Do they whiz you across the world? And how will you use them? So what will you use these trainers for with their magic powers? And when you've made all these notes, the next task is to plan your diary entry.
So once you've thought about all those different questions we just looked at, what I want you to do is put your ideas into this planning format here. So first of all, how would you feel? Then, what powers could they have? And finally, imagining what you could do with them.
Right, I'll be back in a moment. I'm just going to go and plan my own diary entry. See you later.
Oh, that's given my brain a bit of a workout, but here is an example of my planning. So first of all, I drew my trainers. So in my head, I knew what I wanted my trainers to look like and have. Then I designed my own plan. I drew it on a separate piece of paper and thought about all the different things I would feel, my trainer powers, and what I could do with my trainers. And I'll let you have a look at that now. Remember to send in pictures of your diary entries to your teacher, as we can't wait to see them and the hard work you're doing at home.
I'm now just going to quickly work through with you one of the guided reading tasks that we've set you at the end of the week, just for you to have a go at. So the first one is to find and retrieve answers in a text. Now, I know your new topic is about Romans, so our first guided reading activity is based on the Romans. So first of all, what we want you to do is read the text here and skim it by using the subheadings to scan for the keywords in the question. So that's the first step, to read this section of writing here. So on the next page is a series of 4 questions based on the piece of text you've just read. Now what I want you to do first of all is think about the key vocabulary in the question. So where was the city centre of the Roman Empire? So in that question, the main key information we're looking for is city, centre and Roman Empire. I would then go back to the previous slide where the text was and look for those keywords we've just thought of. So that was city, centre and Roman Empire. So let's read the first section. Who were the Romans? Rome is the capital city of the modern day Italy, and it was the city at the centre of the Roman Empire. So there's our keywords: city, centre and Roman Empire. So therefore, we've just found out that the answer to our question is Rome was the capital city of the Roman Empire.
I hope that was really helpful, and also remember to send your guided reading questions that you answer to your teachers for us again to have a look at, because we really want to see the work you're getting up to at home. I'm now going to carry on reading some of our story, This Morning I Met a Whale by Malcolm Uppergo. Enjoy! But Grandfather knew it was dangerous too.
The further upriver he swam, the shallower the waters around him were becoming. There were boats and barges everywhere, and he knew that if he wasn't very careful, any one of them could run him down and be the death of him. When Propeller took a nick out of his fin, he decided that it was time to leave. And besides, he was weak with hunger by this time. He knew that he couldn't go any further. So he turned round and tried to swim back the way he'd come, back out to sea, but that was when he found the tide was going down fast. He was having to keep the deep channels, but so were all the boats and barges, of course. There was a danger all around him. He was so busy looking out for boats that he didn't notice how shallow the water was getting all around him. Grandfather knew, as all whales do, just how easy it is to get yourself stranded. He always said it was his own fault that he got stranded. He lost concentration. But Grandfather got lucky. Some children saw him floundering there in the shallows and came running down to the river to help him. They helped him back into the water and then stayed with him till they were sure he was going to be all right. They saved his life, those children, and he never forgot it. When you get there, find a child, he told me. Because children are kind, they'll help you, they'll listen, they'll believe you. So you see, it was only because of those children that Grandfather managed to find his way back out into the open sea again and come back to us to tell us his story. That was when I noticed that all the birds were back again, the egret too on his buoy and out in the river. They had gathered by. There were pigeons and blackbirds perching on the trees behind me. On the shore not too far away from me, a beady-eyed heron stood stock still, and there was a family of ducks bobbing about on the river, a couple of cormorants amongst them, all looking at the whale, but none of them too close. And like me, they were listening. Even the trees seemed to be listening. The whale spoke again. Grandfather told me exactly how to get here, just how many days south I had to swim. He said I had to look out for the fishing boats and their nets, not to hug the coastline, because that was where there were always more boats about. He warned me about the currents and the tides, told me where the deep channels were in the river, and not to show myself till I had to. I mustn't stay too long. I mustn't swim too far upriver. I mustn't go any further than I had to. You'll want to, he told me, just like I did. When you find a child, that'll be far enough. And when you find him, tell him all I've told you, what we whales all know, and what people refuse to understand. Tell him it's our last chance and their last chance, and you must make sure it's a child you tell. The old ones are greedy. They have too hard hearts and closed minds, or they would not have done what they have done. They're too old to listen and too old to change. The young ones will listen and understand. Just like they saved me, they can save the world. If they know, they will want to put it right. I know they will. They just need telling. All you have to do is tell them. That's what Grandfather told me. So that's why I have found you, and that's why I have come. That was when I saw he was drifting closer and closer to the shore again, and was just about to warn him. When he must have realised the danger himself, because suddenly his tail began to thrash wildly in the shallows. The birds took off in a great flurry of panic. The whale didn't stop flailing around until he had found his way back out into the deeper waters, where he dived down and vanished altogether. This time I wasn't really that worried. I knew in my heart that he would come back, that he had much more to tell me. All the same, he was gone a long while before he appeared again, and I was so pleased to see him when at last he did. It was the strangest thing, but when he began speaking to me again this time, I found I wasn't just hearing his words and understanding them. It was as if I could see in my mind everything he was telling me. I was seeing it all happen right there in front of my eyes. He wasn't just telling me, he was taking me round the world, round his world, and showing me.
I hope you all enjoyed that section of the story. It was very interesting and I can't wait to hear what happens next. And just one last thing I need to say, a massive shout out to all of those children that have sent their work in to all of their teachers. It's really putting a smile on our faces. And also a big shout out to Mason S in Hazel class, Georgia C in Rowan class, Isabel L in Holly class, and Romy in Silver Birch class. You were the first children yesterday to send your work to your teachers, so well. I wonder who's going to be next to send their work in first when Mr. Patchett does the next video on Thursday. Anyway, stay safe, I really miss you all and I can't wait to see your faces back in school. Bye!